So it's a privacy thing then, the reason why you're not saying the last negative test? HIPAA?
So that is one reason. The fact of the matter is there's a reason to share certain information. It's to prevent further transmission of the virus. It's public health purposes, and that's what we're doing.
Got it. But you just said a couple of minutes ago that you would share the results of this PCR test today if you get it and if that happens. So what's the difference? Why not be more transparent with people about this last negative test? You know there is a public health reason for this, and it impacts the people who were potentially exposed to the virus before the president was diagnosed. Why not be transparent about that specific, very specific piece of information?
So, Hallie, I stated we'll have further updates from the doctors. We've had updates from the doctors every single day, but it's not something that has the public health value that the other information we're releasing does. That's why we're releasing information in the interest of public health.
Okay, I think medical experts would absolutely disagree with that about the public health value, because the reason, as we've talked about ad nauseum, and as I think you know that is important, is because it determines the potential exposure for other people, Brian, people that you work with prior to the president's diagnosis. You are not saying when the president's last negative test was. Let's be clear about that. But let me ask someone else.
But the president was socially distanced from people. Certainly, you focused a lot on the New Jersey event. Everybody there said he was never within 6 feet of anybody.
Brian, we have video. We know the president wasn't socially distanced from everybody. That's not true. We've seen video of the president over the weekend, Brian. We have eyeballs. So as for the last debate, the 72-hour requirement to test negative, did the president comply with that? Yes or no?
Hallie, we are looking at how the president can get out there without transmitting the virus, and that's what we're going to do.
That is not the question that is in front of you, Brian. So do you not have an answer? I just want to be clear. I know. Again, yes or no? Do you have an answer?
Hallie,
and if you don't, just say you don't have an answer.
You've got time to talk to the White House about very important issues.
Pretty brilliant questioning there by Hallie Jackson, and she didn't let Morgenstern off the hook there, because there are only two possibilities about the outcome of Trump's test results, and the reason they're covering it up is because both of those outcomes are really bad looks and negligent by the Trump campaign and administration. The more likely scenario is, one, that Trump wasn't tested, violating the Cleveland Clinic's rules about testing 72 hours prior to the debate for against Joe Biden. So that's Chris Wallace said that they used the honor system and that the Trump campaign showed up way later than the Biden campaign did, following the protocols, while the Trump campaign did not, potentially exposing everyone in that debate hall. That is, I think, the more likely scenario, that they broke the Cleveland Clinic rules and didn't follow them. But the second possibility, which you can't put past Trump because it's Trump, that he debated Biden knowing he had tested positive for COVID-19. And then also exposing his staff, exposing his donors at the Bedminster, New Jersey fundraising event that he attended. I don't even think he could be that insane to do that, but who knows? Who really knows? I mean, he could have said, I don't care about this COVID-19 test. I need to debate Joe Biden. But I actually don't think that's the case, because he was allegedly so rattled once he immediately found out, apparently 2 days later after the debate, that he had tested positive. So I think the more likely scenario is that these test results, the fact that they're hiding them, would show how infrequently Trump was being tested, even though has all the resources in the world to make sure everyone is safe around him and that he's safe. But he's so reckless, so arrogant, so disdainful of every aspect of science surrounding the coronavirus pandemic that he flouted testing. You know how many people would feel so lucky to have access to the amount of testing for coronavirus that Trump has, the healthcare that Trump has, and he just disregarded it, crumpled it up and threw it in the trash, basically. This is a part of an ongoing cover-up now by the Trump administration and campaign that's been going on for days, in terms of the media asking them about these test results and what they're saying, which is basically stonewalling. The White House has repeatedly refused to disclose when President Donald Trump last tested negative for COVID-19 before he announced his infection, information that could help determine who he exposed to the virus and the severity of his illness. They also declined to confirm when and how Trump was tested before last Tuesday's presidential debate with Joe Biden, even though both campaigns certified to debate organizers that the candidates and everyone who traveled with them to Cleveland tested negative within 72 hours of the debate. The White House, which has made contradictory statements about when and how often Trump is tested, said the president first tested positive Thursday evening and first discussed symptoms with his doctor at that time. Studies have shown that coronavirus patients are infectious up to 2 days before the onset of symptoms, and other studies have estimated that it could be even more days than that. While it's not clear when Trump was infected with the virus, the White House's silence raises questions about its compliance with debate rules, the frequency of Trump's tests, and whether the president or his aides had concerns about him having the virus before he tested positive, as he kept up his busy schedule of campaign events. It has also added scrutiny to the safety precautions in place for the upcoming matchup with Biden after Trump's campaign said he intends to debate Biden in person next week in Florida. Yes, that adds a wrinkle to it that I hadn't initially considered, that maybe the reason they weren't testing Trump frequently up into the debate is that they suspected he might have it. I don't know. Again, this is all theorizing because we don't have any information. But my guess is that they're stupid and arrogant, so that leads me to believe that they just completely did away with testing and didn't care about it. Par for the course with them, and then endangering everyone around them. We've got to get an answer soon. Hey, leakers within the White House, I know you want to advance your career, maybe have a career in media after this complete clown car of an administration implodes. Leak it to your friends at CNN, New York Times, wherever. Let's go. Let's get this show on the road. We need to know this information for the safety of the people around him, the White House staff, other people at the debate, and also just because he's the president.